My name is Petra Williams-Reyna, and this is the latest in the series I'm Not My Breast, a series that has been named after a book of the same name, which I wrote chronicling my experience with breast cancer. Now, the last episode, I talked a little bit about how finding something to laugh about during chemotherapy really helped me to get through. Now, anybody who has been through a breast cancer diagnosis and treatment, or who is currently going through that, understands that this is a hard thing. I mean, I suppose I say this every time, that the experience of breast cancer is a difficult experience, or it can be, right? But it's not an impossible experience. It's one that you can find ways to cope with. And this episode, I want to talk about finding something about the experience that you like as part of helping you to get through it. Now, again, if you've been diagnosed, or you're in treatment, or if you know somebody who's been diagnosed or who is in treatment, or who even has gone through treatment, you know that you're probably raising the eyebrows like, what? Say that again. What I'm suggesting is that you find something about the process that you like in order to help you to get through it. In my own case, and I'll give you the story about this, DPH became the thing. No, as part of my chemotherapy treatment, I was given a dose of DPH each time, I think, if memory serves, to help to mitigate any sort of allergic reactions to the drug that was being administered to help to save my life. And I remember the first day I went, my care team would have briefed me. We had a conversation about what to expect, and then my nurse comes in and she hangs up the bags and she mixes the drug and does her thing. And then she says, so she's walking you through, as she goes through each of the steps, she's explaining, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. So she says, okay, I'm going to administer the DPH now. And of course, usually as a breast cancer patient, you put in a port so that the drug is not going to be injected directly into your vein, right? Because it can cause problems. So usually you put in what is called a port, and then the drug is administered through that port. And usually it's on either side of your chest. So she gives me the DPH and she says, you may go out. But I'm a hard-headed person. I'm like, please. Like, how many people have tried to put me to sleep? It never happens. And I kid you not. The next time I heard the nurse's voice, she was in the room. I had completed the session, and she was saying, Mrs. Reyna, we're just waiting for you to wake up and to sort of regain your balance, and then you can be on your way. My husband laughed all the way back to the car. And so usually when you have a chemotherapy session, of course, somebody accompanies you because you can be a bit groggy depending on what kind of drug and so on, post the administration of said drug. My husband laughed at me. He was like, babes, you were there one moment, and the next moment, out like a light. And ladies and gentlemen, that is something that I really began to love about chemotherapy. Why? Because in that moment, I was able to lay down all of the concerns. Like, again, if you've been diagnosed, or if you're going through treatment or have gone through treatment, you understand that there are a multiplicity of decisions that come with it. And even as you're being called upon to make these various decisions about your health and wellness, your future, your life, you have prevailing concerns, whether it's about work, whether it's about your family, or your children, how your husband doing, and so on and so forth. All of these things that are wrapped up in or with your diagnosis. And so for me, when I got to chemo, when I had my chemo session days, and I was given that lovely dose of DPH, I really felt very blessed. I began to look forward to those sessions because of that, as hard as it may seem. Because again, for an hour, or maybe usually a couple of hours, for about a couple of hours of each of those sessions, I had absolutely no care. I was able to lay everything down and pick it up back if I decided, once I was out of treatment. And so today, I would just want to say to folks listening, if you are dealing with a breast cancer diagnosis, find something about that whole process, that whole journey, that you like, that will help you to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Is this the easiest thing? Not at all. But do a little examination and say, okay, how can I inspire myself? And one of those ways I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, is to find something you actually like about it. Something you actually like about this hard experience.